Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of JJW Sports Talk. I'm your host, Will the Thrill, and along with me,
I'm just Josh. Here we are for another exciting week. Yeah, some fun stuff going on, especially in NFL with these division round. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and get into that.
you ain't you ain't lying about that one, partner. Um, it's been an interesting week in the world of sports in general.
Why is my
Wait, where is it? There it
You good,
is.
Will?
Yeah, I couldn't find my
You lost.
NFL stuff. No, I just couldn't find my
That's
NFL
not good.
stuff. No. It like was on screen, then it disappeared, and then I had to do the search thing again.
Uh, all right, what do you got for me? Where
Yeah.
are we
So
starting? Which game you
or are
starting
we
with?
starting on the 17th? I think that's where we need to
Yep.
start on the 17th. All
Yep.
right. So the early game was between the Bills going to the Mile High to meet the Denver Broncos. And surprise, surprise, the number one seed prevailed at with a victory in overtime, 33-30. Broncos over the Bills.
It cost them though.
Yes, it did.
Bo Nix broke his ankle, so he's done. Um, which really stinks for them and for him. Um, but great game to watch. Um, I had it on a little bit because I forget what channel it was on, one weird channel, so I didn't get to see all of it. Or no, the internet was telling me one thing, but it was on ABC. But the internet was telling me it wasn't. It was only on Hulu
Yeah.
Plus. And I'm like, what? And then I turned ABC on to see before the other game started, and yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
So I watched the overtime, but yeah, crazy. Even the overtime was crazy. It went back and forth. Um, just fun game to watch. That
I
was for
was
sure.
I was at a cave, or I should say a house with a cave, and several of the wrestlers were from Buffalo. So that was the only way we were able to watch it, and we were the because we had to go into the cave, so we really didn't have a signal. So the game was the Broncos, I want to say, was up at the time when we were watching. Um, I want to say it was 20, no, it was tied 2020 at the time because we only saw up to the third. Um, so, but man, oh man, it's a shame with Bo Nix getting injured. Um, He had a good game and he threw for 279 yards that game, as well as ran for 12 carries for 29 yards. Three touchdowns by him, and they just one INT. I mean, that's not bad at all for a guy in his second year in the playoffs. Like, that's pretty impressive.
And the crazy part is some of that was with the broken ankle already. It didn't
Yeah,
happen at the end of it, just in the end of overtime. It happened at some point. I don't know when during the game, but it happened, and he played the rest of the game with it. Um, hopefully he didn't make it worse by keep playing and really mess himself up. Um, but kudos to him for hanging in there and finishing that. I know that hurt.
yes. But you could tell he wanted it. Like, he
Oh yeah,
really wanted to be there for that. And
oh yeah.
he showed the toughness of a true football player to battle through an injury like that. Josh Allen wasn't too shabby himself, 283 yards. 3 touchdowns, 2 INTs, unfortunately. And Allen carried the ball 12 times as well for 66 yards. But yeah, so it
Uh,
just shows they really were. Buffalo was pounding the ground, and yeah,
Definitely Josh Allen gave it all he had. Can't be upset with his performance now. I know there's the controversy with the one interception there at the end. Um, and it's a very hard call if you watch it because they both kind of have their hands on it. Receiver kind of has more control of it at first, so you could call him down by contact, and then the guy. So it's a hard call. I wouldn't want to be the ref making that call or the replay people making that call. I know they did look at it. They did rule an interception. It did go in their favor. Yeah. We'll see what the Broncos can do now without Nix. Because they got a tough game in front of them.
and I also want to say, sure. I also do want to add too, like their rushing game was on point because Cooks had 117 yards rushing as well. So it wasn't just like a Josh Allen show.
No.
Cooks did his part too. It's unfortunate, as Josh mentioned, about the interception. Yeah, I really don't know more what else to say.
All right. Well, I guess time to move on to the next game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which we got San Fran going to Seattle, and Seattle winning 41-6. I called it at the beginning of the playoffs. I said, watch out for Seattle.
You did. You did. But the thing is, I'm also going to say this. You never know which version you're going to get from the Seattle Seahawks. That's the thing that's unpredictable. Kudos to the 49ers for doing what they did despite all the injuries and everything. And facing your division rival for a third time, you never know what to expect.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Purdy also got hurt in this game, which had Mac Jones go in for the game, or because the game was so far out of reach. I guess that's why they had him play.
I didn't watch this.
I couldn't watch because I was at this point driving home, and a passenger of mine is a 49ers fan, so he was watching it and cursing left and right on the way home on a 3-hour trip. So
and
I knew it wasn't going well.
And yeah, if you're here, Tiny, we know who he's talking about.
But yeah, I kind of feel for them. I mean, Kenneth Walker the third, my lord, 116 yards rushing, 19 carries for 3 TDs. Darnold had 1 for 100 and only threw the ball 17 times. 12 for 17. That's not a bad percentage at all for 124 yards passing. And Cooper Kupp, the former LA Ram, had 60 yards out of all that. He led the team, receiving yards that game, with only catching 5 of those balls. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup for them this coming weekend.
Yes, Seattle, like I said, going into playoffs, watch some of the dangerous. Now, they did lose their running back, Zach Chabona,
Chabonnet.
out with
Chabarnet.
a torn ACL.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah,
The
yes.
three magic
He tore
words you don't want to
his
hear.
ACL, so ACL, yep.
Yep, the three letters you
Um,
don't want to hear.
the good thing is the only good thing is for the Seahawks is he's more of their second guy. They do have Walker. Um, so I still believe, like I called from the beginning, I was talking about Seattle Patriots was my call for the Super Bowl, and I'm sticking with it.
I still
Um,
believe.
but yes, I 100% call. I said it from the beginning of the playoffs that I believe that's who could come out of both of them.
You did.
I
I hate to
thought it would
say it,
come
but you
down.
did.
I thought it would come down. I thought it was going to be the Patriots and the Bills and the Seahawks and the 49ers in the final game, but it didn't fall that way. So I'm still going Patriots and Seahawks. So Seahawks, don't let me down. Keep that magic going. Which then will take us to what you have to say over there, sir.
For the matchup, the coming matchup for the NFC. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're saying?
No, we still got 2 more games going.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I was just making sure we were on the same page because I know you were doing your pick right there.
No, that was for my whole Super Bowl pick.
Oh,
that call from the beginning. Just saying, I'm sticking with my original call.
Okay, so let's flip to the next day, aka Sunday, January 18th. So it was Texans, Patriots. And the number 1 seed, which is the Patriots, won 28-16. May threw 3 touchdown passes. Stroud has 4 interceptions as the Patriots top them 28-16 to advance to the AFC title game.
I watched a good portion of this game because I wanted to see.
Just a good portion?
Well, yeah, I did. I actually sat down and watched. Like, I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched a good amount of it. Stroud looked horrible. I mean, I've only seen one performance that bad in the playoffs, and damn. I know I pick on the poor. I know I pick on the poor guy, and you guys. I know you're gonna say something because you know what's coming.
Go ahead and say it. I'm waiting to hear it.
They pulled the McNabb and Prescott. Literally, he had at points he had wide open guys that he was missing. Now I get it. The weather was bad. It was snowing pretty bad at most of that game, but he still had them wide open and was just missing them, and that led to some of the interceptions. It was just, he didn't make smart choices even when it came to running. It just he looked bad. He looked like a young quarterback.
I was going to say it was just bad. And we don't mean Michael Jackson bad. It was bad.
and the Patriots just looked like the hungrier team. All around. Texans defense still looked nasty. That defense, if they keep that defense and keep it, they're going to be nasty for a couple of years if they keep that together. But the Patriots, better coached, just wanted it more.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it came down to. But uh, let's go Patriots.
Yeah, I gotta say that too.
Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say that, I hate
Now
it.
you know shit's hitting the fan. The fact that we're picking the Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, dude. 28-16. And the thing is, Stroud actually led that game in passing with 212. The man threw double than what Drake May threw. I mean, he was 20 for 47, and Drake May was 16 for 27, but had 3 touchdowns in that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Crazy. Well, let's go to the big game that I think a lot of people were really wondering about. I myself was. The Los Angeles Rams went to the cold, cold Chicago to face the Bears. And somehow, some way, the Rams hit a walk-off field goal to defeat the Bears in overtime to advance to the NFC game. NFC title game, that is. Oh man,
Yes.
yeah.
I once again watched a good portion of the end of this game, and I don't know what it is, but the Bears on offense and Caleb Williams plays better when they're behind because they were tied 10-10, and their offense looked
Yeah.
Rams go down and score, and their next drive, they look like the best offense, and it looked like a total different offense playing the game than the last couple drives. And I was just like, all right, where was this the rest of the game? And then overtime, they just got beat, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like I said, another fun game to watch.
Just was hoping I was shooting for the Bears. The
Yeah,
Care
so was I.
Bears.
So was I, especially
It just proved that the Rams could handle the cold a little bit. Even though
yeah, because
Stratford didn't look all that good.
it was snowing and stuff too during their game too. But Williams, he's going to be a QB to watch.
Yep.
He's going to be a top QB in the league for a while.
Because I think what's this, his third season in the league?
I think so, yes. Something like that, yes.
Yeah, because his sophomore year, you could see the improvement. This was his coming out party this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford threw for 42 times, truthfully, made 20 of those completed for 258 yards. But Williams for the Rams were just something. Carried the ball 21 times, 87 yards, with 2 TDs to help lift the Rams over to him. So now that we got the matchup of another division game for the Rams and Seahawks, you heard Josh's pick. He said Seattle, right? I'm hopping on the Seattle bagwagon because I don't know. I don't know why, but I guess because of the story for Sam Darnold. Like, a lot of people rule him out because of where he played at beginning of his career, playing with the New York Jets, and and then he gets traded to wrong team, the Panthers. He did pretty decent there in Carolina. Then gets shipped again to Minnesota, supposed to be a backup, The starter ended up getting injured, so he took over the role. They had one of the best records for a while there in Minnesota. And then, of course, he loses the job to the guy he replaced for a little bit and goes to Seattle. And now he's a game away from the Super Bowl. That's an incredible story.
Yes, it is.
So because of that, yeah, there's my pick, Seattle for the NFC. And for the AFC, we have the surprising Broncos taking on the New England Patriots. This
Both
is going to be
surprising
the
teams
game to
there.
me.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of them were the 1 and 2 seeds. I'm surprised that it's how good these teams are and to watch them go against them in the AFC Championship. I mean, I'm not a fan of both teams. I'm going to lay it out there now. But if we have to pick one, and Bo Nix, I would have went with Broncos if Bo Nix was playing. Because the way how that team camaradered together and they just showed that team's grit, but it's going to come to coaching. So he's hasn't coached as long as Sean Payton, but he just showed how he turned this whole franchise around this season. So I'm going with the Patriots, as much as it pains me to say that.
Yeah, I hate saying Patriots are going, but they're just the team this year right now. Deadhead, did the Packers release Diggs? I saw a weird post on Facebook. I looked into it. I have not seen anything to make it official.
Yes, they did. They did. Yeah,
they did.
Former Pro Bowl cornerback Trevon Diggs was released by the Green Bay Packers on Tuesday after playing just 2 games and 34 snaps for this season.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, when I saw it earlier, there was nothing. So
come to Philly. Come on, Diggs. We could use you.
No. But other
you're free now. You can come if you want.
Other NFL news before we move on. Falcons named Bill Callahan as their offensive line coordinator.
Okay.
Dolphins hire Packers defensive coordinator. It didn't have his name as their new head coach.
Okay. You also the defensive coordinator for the 49ers is now the new head coach. Was it for the Tennessee Titans?
I believe so.
Yep. And John Harbaugh. Yep. We knew he was going somewhere sooner than later. Is
5 years, $100 million contract for the Giants.
Yes. For the New Jersey Giants. I mean, New York Giants. Man, oh man. Is that a lot for a head coach? That sounds like more than enough for a head coach.
It is. Usually, like 100 mil is over like a 10-year, or longer contract, not a 5-year. So that's a lot. But I think he's a good fit there.
They need someone who's going to kick the players' ass when they need it done.
But he'll be good with Dart and Skaka.
Yeah, scat.
When he comes,
just say scat. We know who you talk about. You say scat. I like him because he's a wrestling fan. That's the main reason I like him, and he don't take no shit.
He's a big John Cena fan. But yeah, so I
He's like,
think
yeah.
I think he'll be good down there, over there, whatever, however you want to say it. Um, we'll see how it works out. But Bills also fired their head coach.
Yes, after that game. Is it Sean McDermott? Did I say that right?
Yes.
I don't know why I was thinking not to get confused with hockey. But yes, Sean McDermott is no longer the head coach of the Buffalo Bills with a 109 and he had way more wins than he had losses. So it's
Yeah,
not like
he was there for like eight seasons or something.
8 seasons, only missed the playoffs once, and I think it was his beginning of his time there. But yeah, a lot of
And
coaches got released, so now he's in the fishing pool, so someone can pick him up.
yep. Um, I know Dallas is still looking for a defensive coordinator. Uh Philly didn't sign an offensive coordinator yet, neither. I know they interviewed a couple
Nope,
people
they
though.
interviewed, but nobody took the job yet.
Yeah, they haven't decided yet. Yeah. Um, Same thing with us. I think we've interviewed a couple, but nothing has come of it yet. But hey, that's all I got for the football stuff. Um, Guess we're going to hockey next.
Go do your thing.
I'm just double checking something. Hold on. There we go. Oh, we dropped out of first place. Oh, no, we're tied
Oh,
technically. We're tied. We're tied technically. We're tied technically when you look at the points, but we're still not in first. Actually, we're tied for second. So the Carolina Hurricanes are in first, with the Lightning and the Red Wings tied for second in the East. And then you have the Canadiens and the Islanders rounding out the top. The Flyers are in like ninth place, it looks like, give or take. But the cool thing about this is I saw a thing for earlier is that the Red Wings and Pistons both have great winning records or something this year. Something, and it's first time in years that they both had that, like that, where a record like that at the same time in years. Kudos. Actually, I think it was when they a couple of days ago when they were both still in first. Yeah, Flyers finally broke the 6-game losing streak. Yep.
okay.
They won last night to break that. Hey, still rebuilding.
That's how I put it. They're still rebuilding, so don't lose faith in them yet.
They're
They're
going.
getting
They're
better as
not.
time goes on.
They're don't look for them to be making the playoffs and stuff. Just like look, I'm happy that Detroit's doing what they're doing, but do I expect it to hold up the whole season and us to
It's a
make a
long
playoff
season.
run?
82 games is a lot of games.
Yeah, we've played 50 so far. We still have 30 something games to play.
Holy crap. How many?
50.
That's a lot.
Because of the Olympics this year and the NHL going into it again this year, NHL players going over, they get off for like a month, so they gotta fit a lot of the
Yeah,
season.
because
A
of the
lot
Winter
in.
Olympics. Yep. And it's a lot of their stars too, so that's the other reason.
Yeah. So yeah, they play a lot of games quick because of unfortunately it happens right in the middle of the season. Where basketball, they luck out the summer games happen after the season and before the preseason. They luck out. NHL, unfortunately, winter games happen in the winter when hockey's played. So then we'll move out to the West. Before I say anything here, hold on. Colorado Avalanche are 34-5. They're actually starting to get some losses in regulation here. They're in first, followed by the Wild, Minnesota Wild, which since they got Quinn Hughes has been on fire, killing it. Just fastest player on the Minnesota ever to reach 20 points in the least amount of games. You have the Dallas Stars coming in third, followed up by the Golden Knights and the Oilers. That's your top teams. You got the Wild and the Canadians playing right now. Wild up 1-0. Let me see. Is there any good games to watch tonight?
There's always good games to watch.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like Devils versus Oilers at 10. That'll be a good one to watch.
Okay.
I'm just saying like that has like that star power, big like rivalry kind of thing. Now tomorrow night you got some good games. You got the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. That's always a rivalry. Original Six, and then out west you have the Avalanche and the Ducks. That'll be another good one. Nothing really else big with hockey right now that I've seen over the last few days. So that'll wrap up hockey. Nothing that I caught for baseball. I probably missed stuff. I know I did. Probably did.
So, the Phillies did sign JT Romero, their longtime catcher. He's staying for 3 years is the deal he signed. How much money? I missed it. But I did know that it was for 3 years. He was talking about it. He saw the offers, but just chose to stay home. So that's always a bonus to hear good news like that. Baseball is among us. For those who didn't know, the Phillies did try to go for Bichette. Lost out to the Mets once again, and they said it feels like a gut punch because they tried. They offered him a lot of money, hoping that he'll stay. And the cool thing is, Romano really thought his time with Philly was over, so it's good that he's staying.
Kyle Tucker signed with the Dodgers, and apparently owners are mad. I don't know. That's all. It doesn't. I click on it, and it makes me want to have to pay for something to try to read it. So I'm not reading it. I'm not paying, so I can't see it.
And former All-Star reliever Ryan Pressly retires after 13 seasons. He played for the Houston Astros, for those who don't know. 37 recorded. He's 37. He recorded 6 saves and allowed only 1 unearned run over 11 innings during the Houston Astros 2022 postseason run, and that's the one that they did win the World Series over the Philadelphia Phillies in 6 games. Oh God, I really wanted to remember that. But as we were talking about news, Dodgers strike again. They signed Kyle Tucker, 4 years. Now here's the amount that I think is ridiculous for any player, regardless. For 4 years, to me, that's ridiculous to be paying someone $240 million deal. That's a lot. That's like you could buy a quarter of the stadium. That's a lot of this thinking money for one player for 4 years.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's baseball is the longest sport in the season with 160 games played throughout. But to me, they don't have everyday players anymore. So seeing the money go up that high, that's ludicrous.
But they also don't have a salary cap neither, do they?
No, they don't. No, baseball's the only sport that doesn't have a salary cap.
Because actually,
The only reason, because the Dodgers is one of the most profitable sports teams. That's how they're able to afford money like that. New York is the other team. Boston is the third team. Can't remember. Those are pretty much the top teams that only can afford players like that to do a situation like that. All the other teams are smaller marketing teams, so therefore their salaries kind of limited on how much they could really pay a player
and
without
that's
breaking the ticket prices for this fans to go to.
and that's what I'm seeing. Other owners are complaining about that. There needs to be a salary cap so that it's fair.
Yeah, it's really not fair because it's not like anyone's going to turn down money just to.
Because the NHL was like that in the '90s. They didn't have a salary cap. Look at the Detroit Red Wings. That's why every year they had all these all-star superstars, especially the late '90s, early 2000s, when we had Brett Hall every year. We had Brad Richards. We had Mike Modano, Chris Chelios. We were signing all these players every year, like at the trade deadline, because there was no salary cap, just to make
Dino
them.
Cincinnati.
Well, that was this was after him. But to try to win more Stanley Cups that's what we were doing, and we could until they made a salary cap, and then it made it fair because teams like Detroit could do that, the Rangers could do that, Toronto could do that at the time, and a couple other teams had money like that, but salary caps help keep the game fair and fun to watch, in my opinion.
Right.
Which actually could be a topic thing to talk about, salary caps.
That'll be something that we need to keep in our back pocket because we could go on and on about that one.
Oh, yeah. Nothing really new with the WNBA situation. Right now, they're still at a stalemate. But in some related WNBA news, Angel Reese is joining the show The Hunting Wives on Netflix season 2. That's filming down in North Carolina. So she'll be in season 2 playing Trainer Barbie. I guess is her name. I don't know.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there before you get in your NBA news. And I'll start off the NBA news actually for you. Jimmy Butler of the Warriors out with an ACL tear. There's them 3 letters again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I actually like Jimmy Butler, so I'm kind of bummed about that. He's one of those like grit players. He talks his shit, but he backs it up when he's on the court. And if he's not scoring, he is finding ways to still get himself involved. It's just, yeah, just dampers that. Also, before I start talking about that, if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan and you definitely have love for Tyrese Maxey, he was named a starter, a 2-time All-Star, and he's a starter. So it shows the love for this kid. So yes.
And since you're speaking of the All-Star, as of right now,
I know where you're going with this. Yes.
Somebody's not going. Was not voted into the All-Star game as of right now. Now, mind you, he does still hold the record for the most because he's had a long career. I will give him that.
Yeah.
But his streak ends, and he will not as of right now, will not be in the All-Star game. You know, things can change and stuff, but that's why I say as of right now,
Yep.
he did not get voted in. He is not going. Is LeBron James will not be in the All-Star game as of right now. Not saying
But
that can't change.
The thing is about this, it's not that he's not in it yet, as Josh mentioned. It just means he is not a starter for the first time in 21 seasons. He is not a starter for the All-Star game, is technically what he's trying to say. Right now, yes, he is not voted into the All-Star game itself either. But as he said, it could change. The coaches still got to pick to finish out the roster. So
but he will not be a starter.
Starter, correct.
Yep.
Unless he uses his pool. That's the only way he would be considered a starter.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. It's all you. It's NBA, sir.
Okay, so he took a couple of the news tidbits and everything. So we did have a few games last night too on the Martin Luther King's Day, the biggest one of them all. Besides the Sixers playing the Pacers, and the Sixers did prevail in that game, with a good team effort to defeat the Indiana Pacers, who are 2-18 on the road this season, which is crazy for a team that went to the NBA Finals just last season. So it does show how important Tyler Hansbrough is for that team. So still leading in a dogfight to keep this record going. Detroit Pistons are 31-10, especially by defeating the Boston Celtics last night. While they're in second place, 26-16 is their record. The New York Knicks, who got demolished and on a losing streak, 4-game losing streak, handed to them by the Dallas Mavericks. And out of all scores, Max Christie, who was involved in that Luka Doncic trade with the Lakers, really showed up last night for the Mavericks, as the Mavericks defeated the Knicks by spanking them, and the Knicks made a late run, of course, to try to get that score somewhat squared away. So the Knicks are still sitting pretty in third, but only by a half game, because the Raptors are right behind them, as well as the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 23-18. In fifth place, the Orlando Magic are in the 6th seed spot. So therefore, if the playoffs started today, the Sixers would be in the playoffs without having to worry about playing in the play-in. You have the Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, the Chicago Bulls, and the Atlanta Hawks. I almost said Falcons. Atlanta Hawks all in the playoff game from 7 to 10. Milwaukee still has a chance to creep in there. So if you love the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo, then yeah, there's plenty of basketball. We're near the All-Star break, as mentioned before, as well as the trading deadline. In the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder is still the top dogs in the West with 36-8, but the San Antonio Spurs are creeping up behind them with 30-13, followed by the Denver Nuggets at 29-14. The Minnesota Timberwolves are 27-16 for those who like Ant-Claus. Or, I mean, Ant-Man. Anthony Edwards. Okay, for those who like him. Kevin Durant fans with the Houston Rockets are 25-15, and the Los Angeles Lakers are 25-6, sitting in the 6th seed spot. But the Phoenix Suns are right behind them and a half a game behind them at 26-17 at the 7th spot. So the Golden State Warriors are in the 8th seed. Portland Trailblazers, surprisingly, is sitting in the 9th spot, as well as the LA Clippers, who is on a 6-game winning streak and is leading the NBA right now in the wins column, in a winning streak, I mean, for this season. That's the most for them since 2022. And with that being said, as mentioned earlier, Jimmy Butler has happened to have an injury. Victor Wembanyama, the alien, as they call him, is considered a starter as well in the West. Um, the 7'3", maybe 7'4", maybe grew taller when he was in those mountains meditating. But yeah, he's named a starter for those who are San Antonio Spurs fans. So that to me, ladies and gentlemen, wrap up. No, 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 no. Let me get things situated. The Philadelphia Sixers are playing again tonight against the Phoenix Suns. The game is in the earlies of the second. Sixers are winning 34-29. If you happen to have NBC or Peacock at 8 o'clock, so in 15 minutes, you can catch the Houston Rockets taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And the late game is where you can watch LeBron James play in Denver at 10 o'clock tonight. So that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the NBA top games. Okay?
All righty then.
All righty then. Hey, I got Josh to chuckle. Mission accomplished.
So, with that, what would you like to discuss here today, sir?
I think
anything in particular?
Yeah, because I think we I want to talk about a couple things, but you touched it, and it kind of, I guess you would say, upset me a little bit. The salary cap. The salary cap, I think, is a good topic to talk about. I think every sport needs the salary cap, as well as the CBA in every sport, and to have a true representative to not only look out for the players, but also look well for the business too. A salary cap, I think, is because you said it happened in NHL, where the NHL now has one. It does seem more balanced because you could see the power shifting, where a lot of teams are more equal, so each game is more competitive. It's not like, oh, this team's playing, they're going to get spanked type of deal, and it's way enjoyable. I like to add on that. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because even when the NHL did it, and this is where some fans, especially of baseball, man, no, it's when they brought the salary cap in and started using it. It wasn't like, okay, and I'm just using numbers. We'll say 100 million. I'm just going to use an easy number. Was the cap? It wasn't like, okay, the first year you got to get your team under 100 mil. It was like, okay, but we know you already have this much cap. You have this many years to start working these contracts out and get them to it. It's not something that changes the very next year. You start implementing new rules that they can't sign nobody else till they get their contracts under and stuff. Because that's what happened in hockey was they had rules with new contracts and signings of like how it worked that worked under how the cap was going to be. But they gave the teams a couple years to get their teams back to being able to get under the cap. So it wasn't just like, oh crap, now I have to let all these players go or whatever, and because in a lot of their contracts you can't just let them go because then you still have to pay them and you still get hit anyway. So, I think it would be good for some of these smaller market teams.
Yeah, because they're the main ones that really hurt from this. Truthfully,
yes, 100%, and that's why I think it's good because the big markets don't suffer from it, a salary cap, but the little markets 100% profit from it. So it helps balance it out. So especially with baseball, there's so many games, so and so much time with baseball, and unfortunately, some of these there's some teams that have never really had that all-star player or that chance, and with a salary cap, it would help even that up. Like I said, hockey did it. You go back and watch hockey in the late '80s and early '90s, maybe even to the early 2000s. I forget what year they actually did the salary cap. It was the same teams were dominating. They were at the top. Detroit was at the top. New York Rangers were at the top. You get a team here and there that snuck in, like the Devils snuck in, because back then the Devils weren't really a high profit team like they are now.
Was the Colorado Avalanche when they later changed from the Nordiques from Quebec?
They had a pretty decent following, only because Colorado, and this is doing my NHL knowledge here, the New Jersey Devils were originally from Colorado back in the day.
Right. Back in the
day.
They moved.
So Colorado always wanted hockey back. So that's why that was such a good move for them. So yeah, they had a pretty good following. They weren't, I don't know if their market was high the first year, but I think what helped them though was they had some of the top players in the league at the time come to their team. They had Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Patrick Waugh. Later on, you had Adam Foote, you had Milan Hajduk, you had Claude Lemieux, Rob Blake eventually down the line. Hajduk, Chris Drury, come on,
yeah,
arch rivals of my team.
Yep, that's why I was hoping you would get to them.
We were in the West back then, so we played them a lot. Which
makes no sense.
No, because it's funny because the Detroit back in the day was originally in the East.
Yeah.
Then for some reason
split it.
And then for some reason in the late '80s, I believe, they moved them to the West. And then a few years ago, they moved them back to the East. But if you look at the NHL, the East and West makes no sense for their stuff. If I'm not mistaken, Nashville is in the West, even though they're on pretty much the East Coast.
Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee.
but I think if I'm not, I could be wrong. I believe they're in the West in the NHL.
No, you're actually right. I'm not going to argue with you on that one.
No. So, but this going back to the salary cap. Salary cap is a very good thing for the league and all teams. Because it gives everyone a chance and all markets a chance to try to get a superstar and stuff. And yeah, like I said, hockey back in the '90s. You look at look at the New York Rangers at one point. You had Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Brian Leetch, Richter. They didn't have Kasparaitis. He was on Pittsburgh. Adam Graves.
Kasparaitis was.
He went to New York later.
Adam Graves was on there too.
Adam Graves. I'm just trying to remember who was on there
and Richter, if I'm not mistaken, he was the goalie.
Yeah, Mike Richter. Yep. Mm-hmm. So they had a lot of, and they had some other people. I just can't remember. That's 90.
But New York was also one of the top marketing teams because they were able to pull Gretzky from the Kings at the time when he. I don't know if that was a trade. I don't know if that was a trade or not because they even had Luke Robitaille on the Rangers too, if I'm not mistaken, around that point. Because it was a reunion for him and Gretzky to be on the same team.
I don't. Did Lucky Luke go then? I know he went to Detroit at one point.
Right. That cracked me up.
Oh, Lucky Luke, man.
Well, I'm not hating because I like loot.
Um. Oh yeah, so he went to the Rangers before he went to Detroit. After he played for Pittsburgh, so he went from the
Right.
Kings to Pittsburgh to New York. So
Pittsburgh.
yeah, he went to New York. He went to New York right before. I think he played one more season with Wayne before he left New York.
Right. That's what I thought happened. Because he retired as a
Yeah.
Ranger, which, a lot of people were surprised about.
Who?
Gretzky.
Yeah.
And then later, a couple seasons later, he was one of the players for, not players, but hired for the Phoenix Coyotes at the time.
Yes, he was a like GM. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
He doesn't split
They're actually no
nines.
longer around no more.
No, that's a shame because I thought they were
Nope.
cool.
Never
I
split
liked
nines.
them. Never split nine.
But there is talk of trying to take a team back to Arizona at some point in the future.
Which they should.
If they can get it, if they can get an owner and stuff, because there is enough fan base to hopefully bring them back. But we'll see, because there's also talks of putting a team back in another Canadian team.
Looking to do some more expansions. All right,
Which,
so we ended up going talking more
Nordiques.
about Josh. We're way off topic to what we were originally talking about.
Oh, you started it. You got me that way. You started testing my knowledge on hockey. Don't test me.
It was fun while it lasted. But no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, we were talking about the
salary
caps, and the NFL has one too, don't they? It's okay. So the NFL, but it just seems like, of course, like now with the NFL, I get it with them because they have incentives, bonuses for players and stuff like that. I like that aspect. For
hockey has it too.
Hockey has it too. That's what I thought.
I don't know about basketball.
Yes, basketball does. In fact, they made it even harder to even stop them from doing super teams. So therefore players can't sign like if they wanted to do LeBron James when he was still in his top of his game. Now you got Luka, and let's say we throw another big name superstar, that Steph Curry. So if they wanted to try to get Steph Curry over to the Lakers, they couldn't do it because they'd be over that second apron. And that's the one thing that stops them from doing it, because no team wants to pay that extra tax, especially let alone the California tax along top of that. So the NBA is kind of more harsher with that, which is why you see more deals being done with lower players than such and such as them. And so some of the players are going back overseas to play over there because the NBA isn't able to pay certain players large amount of money that they believe they're valued with. I'll use Grimes as an example. Grimes held out as long as he could because he wanted a certain amount before he decided to come back, noticing that no team was going to pay what he wanted. He took the deal and shortened it for a 1-year deal. So then he could hit free agency and go anywhere he wants. But he's not going to get that extra money he thinks he's going to get because the second apron is a problem for a lot of players nowadays. For the NBA, that is.
Mhm.
But as the top sports, baseball's the only one that can get away with that. And I do think they need to recalculate that, because with everything going up as much as it is, I mean, Jesus Christ, us folks, I'll say everybody, shoot, we can't even get eggs for a decent price now unless we we get a chicken and do it in our own backyard or something, or have a friend that has some food stamps or something to strike a deal. But it's not, it's just crazy that, as I mentioned, eggs, and for everyday hardworking people, it's hard to just go to a game that you want um to pay an arm and a leg for a ticket because you're paying off of one of the players' salaries.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, like I said, and it would help with that too, because it'll help, like you were just saying, with prices and stuff. Salary caps help with that because it helps the teams be able to keep prices lower because they're not having to dish out 5 players making 100 million a year. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so it helps a lot of different things if done right. And like I was saying, they can't. It wouldn't be something that just gets thrown out next year and everybody's got to get under a certain amount. You got to do it. Okay, this year you got to get to this amount. This year you got to get to this amount. This year you got 5 years to get to this amount, but each year you got to get to a certain amount, and then this is what the salary cap is. So it gives you time to rework contracts or for contracts to expire. So for the people that would think, oh no, you're just trying to bash the no, it ends up equaling out. Just these teams will look like they're getting worse at first because you'll be so used to them having all this star power.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. Because as a Detroit fan, when that salary cap hit and they started that, and we started not having them runs every year, we're at the deadline. We were just spending whatever money we wanted because we could as a team, like they could. They were buying every free agent and making all these trades that they could for like nothing to get these big name players that had big contracts because there was no penalty for it. There was nothing. Salary cap hit. You couldn't do that no more. So it's a good thing. It stops them super teams. It stops from one. If a team becomes a dynasty, it's because they worked for it, not because they just bought all the players and did it. They had 1 or 2 players and built around them and built it and won it.
Yeah.
And I think that as a fan makes the sport so much more fun to watch when you know there's more competition, more equal.
Yep. And it's funny you said that because, like I said, when we were talking about the NHL and the NFL with the incentives, it makes the players themselves do the best, possibly the best that they want to do. In fact, I'll even go a step further. Even if the player is injured, and I believe, me personally, this is my opinion, okay? So I don't want to be ripped up for my opinion because I'm going to attack the NBA for this. I believe the NBA needs to add incentives if they already don't have it, because the smallest injury in the NBA, a player chooses, like, oh, I can't play, I'm going to sit. And then they sit week after week after week, still collecting a check
Ben
just
Simmons.
for being there and not being on the court where you're getting paid to do.
Ben Simmons.
This has been a long gripe that I've had because of load management. Okay, I've had this issue from a moment. I believe the NBA. If a player needs to score a certain amount of points towards the end of the season, I guarantee you will see the injury list shortened to a T because a player wants their money more than anything, especially if they can get a bonus.
And since you're speaking of that, NFL, like you said, NFL does have that because you hear about it with like running backs. If they hit 1,000 yards, they get a certain bonus. NHL does that with certain players, and it's not all players, not all teams do it. Not it's you can do it or
Whatever
not.
they're agreed to when they sign that deal.
It's something they can do or not do. But they'll do things like, okay, 20 goals for the season, you'll get a $500,000 bonus. Boom. Guess what? You're going to play as many games as possible to try to get that. Like you said, you're going to want to play. So yes, incentives, because that's how you get around the salary. That's also how they get around the salary cap and getting you more money. Is with them bonuses. That's why NFL players are still happy with the way everything is, because they have these things where it's like, okay, get so many touchdowns or get so many passing yards or get so many rushing yards. Okay, I'm playing. I'm getting that. I want my bonus. I want my extra $100,000 or whatever it is that you signed into your contract. And so that's how you beat the salary cap. So there's still ways for these players to make their money. So don't even look at it like that way. Plus, how much money a lot of these players make off of endorsements anyway. They make more money off of that than they do their contracts half the time. Some of them, not all of them, some of them. So yeah, but yeah, bring incentives into it. Bring even for baseball, bring incentives. So many hits or so many strikeouts as a pitcher. Like, you come up with different things. You'd have to look at it a little bit to work it out with baseball, but there's ways to do it. Just like there's ways to do it in basketball. You just got to figure it out.
Yep. That's it. Just got to figure it out.
I think it's a good idea, and it's a good way to still keep the players hungry, but also getting their money. Getting that money, more money for them.
Absolutely.
So, salary cap, I'm for it. I think it helps everybody. It helps the league. It helps the teams. It helps the players. Some
and
people may not.
Us, most importantly, because we're the ones really paying the salaries. Because, I mean, to keep the lights on in the stadiums and everything else.
Yep. Because if we don't show up, guess what? You don't have a team.
Nope.
But that's pretty much what I got to say about salary caps right now.
Just right now?
Yeah, because like you said earlier when we said something, you can go into so many different ways with the salary caps. We're not going to get into everything. We'll stick with that right now. The basic of that and the incentives, how to get around it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, bring it in, put the salary cap in. It'll help. It'll make it more fair because I know the last few years has been a little bit up, but you still get the same teams getting there, close to there. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets. Like you said, it gets kind of predictable of who's going to be there towards the end a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets to a point where you end up really just not even rooting for your team. You're rooting for the other team so they don't even stand a chance.
Yeah. Look, like I said, salary cap went into hockey. Detroit, yes, it hurt what we were how we played, like our way of working the system and playing. It hurt us, but guess what? It made it funner to watch come playoffs because I knew we had to try hard and you knew what your team was going to be. You didn't just have like a bunch of, as they call it, lend me players that contracts were up or whatever, because You couldn't do that anymore. So it makes it more fun, makes it easier to be a fan and support your player because you know there's a better chance they're going to stay with your team longer. Sometimes, at least in hockey. I'm not going to say all sports, but hockey anyway. They seem to want to stay more because they like the atmosphere and the pay, what they're getting paid there and stuff. So, bring salary cap. Baseball, do it. That's my call on it. Bring it in, do it, work something out, figure it out with the owners and the players and everything, and make it work. I know, like I said, it won't be a quick thing. It'll take a few years because you have to take a year or so to even plan it out, and then a few years to start rolling it out to get to where it's going to be. But with that note, if you haven't already, hit the like button. And also, don't always forget to like, comment
and subscribe.
And hit that bell so you know when we post something. And we're live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So come hang out with us. And I'm
Please
just Josh.
And I'm Will the Thrill.
And that's a wrap on another one. And hold on, I lost everything. That's a wrap on another one. Thanks for coming and hanging out as always. Peace. Catch you on the next one.